Hey guys, this is RolloutReviews with RolloutReviews doing another Let's Build. This time it is the Crash B-Daman Synchro magazine. Now, while I'm going to be uploading this relatively around the same time as all of the previous Crash B-Daman Let's Builds I've been doing, I'm actually filming this one a whole lot later, which would explain how my finger has immediately and miraculously healed after the Justice Ifrit incident. But it also means that time has passed, and I've actually gotten a few things in the meantime that I want to show off here because I don't really plan on doing individual Let's Builds for them, because, well, I've technically already built them. On top of getting what I'm building here today, I also got a second grenade shot here in blue and silver, so I'll cover both this one and the black and red one in that set review once I get around to that. And then I also got a couple of tactical shots here for Mach Garuda and Assault Tauros, so that they can sort of match the hybrid cannon. Is that what that's called? That came with the Justice Ifrit set. So all three of them have a hybrid cannon because I already have two beat launchers. And then speaking of Assault Tauros, I said I kind of wanted a second one to make sure the first one I got wasn't defective, so I did get a second one of those, and this is actually the Japanese version this time, whereas this one was oddly the Taiwanese distribution version or something like that. And I do think it is a little bit better. I don't know if this one just had some quality control issues. Honestly, it could be all in my head because I wasn't building this on camera and I had a better experience with it overall, but I do think that it might have been a little bit more consistent overall, if nothing else. Whatever the case, I will cover both of these and talk about my experiences and my comparisons in the actual review for Assault Tauros, but until then, I figured I kind of wanted to update you on that. And the reason I wanted a better experience with Assault Tauros is because I kind of wanted this magazine here specifically for Assault Tauros, because it's got a shorter profile than the loading magazine, and if you use the loading magazine on Assault Tauros, it kind of makes his little horn extension here completely useless. But anyway, this is a very cool magazine, kind of complex in a lot of ways. It's sort of like an automatic tornado magazine, where it connects to the Synchro grip and spins as you fire the B-Daman, which is very, very cool. But without further ado, let's open this up. Alrighty, so set this off to the side. Inside, we actually have a couple of pieces that aren't on a sprue here. They're just separate. You have this piece here, as well as a piece that it slides into. That's interesting. And then you have this main drum section, as well as the lid for the magazine there. It's kind of like a drum magazine seen on like some machine guns from the old times. Maybe they're on some current machine guns. I don't know. I'm not really a gun person. You got lots of springs actually, because two are used in the body, and then this one very wide and short spring is used in the middle. So you do have an extra spring for each type, but yeah, two are used in the body, one is used in the middle. Like I said, of course, the instructions here. And then you have a single sprue of white parts, and it doesn't look very colored at all. It's kind of deceptively simple looking when you look at all this, but the mechanism is kind of clever and really interesting. Full discretion, I actually have built this before. In the meantime, this is actually my second Synchro magazine, and I'll talk a little bit about that as I build it, but before we get to that, I am going to cut the parts off of this single sprue, get these springs out of the bag, and we'll return once all of them are here before you. Continuing on from my previous statement, as I start building here, yes, this is my second copy of this accessory, because while I definitely wanted one of these for Assault Tauros specifically, Mach Garuda also uses one of these in the anime. So I always intended on getting two. And I decided to build the first one, first, before actually building this on camera, because it is a little bit intimidatingly complex. I had seen videos of sort of how it went together beforehand, and I wanted to make sure I knew how it worked and make sure I got it right before I did it with the camera in front of me, basically. But here comes the annoying part. There is a seller on Amazon who has Synchro magazines in stock, which is fine, but the problem is, for one reason or another, they're only selling them one at a time. So, from my perspective, I saw a seller with a single one of these in stock, and I went, oh, well, I should probably get that. And then I guess I'll wait until I find a second one at a later date, I suppose. And then, I purchased it, and the day after it shipped, that same seller then proceeded to list a second one. So I went, oh, well, great. Now I gotta, pay shipping again. So I did, and I bought the second one, and then the same exact thing happened. The day after it shipped, they listed another one. So I don't really know how many, I actually have to turn the page here on the instructions. I don't know how many this seller has in stock on Amazon, but they have more than they pray tell. So that, like I said, it's a little bit annoying that they're kind of leading people on and gouging shipping prices out of them when I could have just, bought both of them at the same time. But oh well, I guess there's some kind of marketing scheme going on there. But anyway, this actually should have gone on before I plugged that in, but oh well. How's this? Oh yeah, okay. It's all coming back to me here. Alright, so that goes on like that. So this is kind of the delivery ramp there. And then these little teeth go together here. Like so. Yeah. And then this spring just sort of sits there like that. And then I don't think there's any specific way this goes on, but then that slides over the top here. Locks everything together. And then kind of similar to some of the Battle Beat-em-on accessories, and, obviously somewhat similar to the Crash Beat-em-on bolt system. You got this little, I guess it is a bolt that goes on there and kind of locks everything together. I do appreciate how relatively simple this thing is to actually take apart, just in case there is some maintenance you need to do on it, or you want to paint it up or something like that. Yeah, you just kind of unlock this, and the whole thing will sort of fall apart. So I know that's a good thing and a bad thing. If you lose this piece, you're kind of screwed, but oh well. And then this goes on top here, so if you do want to cover up the trough system, make it look a little bit nicer on display, you can do that. And then this is kind of interesting, because this is where it attaches to the hook on the synchro grip of the Beat-em-on, and it attaches here and here, so you can plug it onto either side. You can have the synchro grip on either side, of course, depending on what you prefer, but it also acts as a sort of a stopper here, because it slides on like this and stops marbles from flowing in. So you can have marbles stored inside this without having it attached to a Beat-em-on, and you are good to go, which is appreciated. But let's finally attach this to, well, Assault Tauros. So you sort of have to attach this piece first here. And it just kind of hooks onto the synchro attachment point here. And then, if I can do this with two hands and a camera in front of me, you just sort of plug that on there, like that. And then latch this on, like so. And then, when you pull the trigger here, it spins, like that. You can open that up, you can reload it. I've already done a whole lot of testing on this magazine, and it is interesting. I'll get, a whole lot more into the specifics when I review it, and, give you some pointers and tips and things like that. But as is, it looks pretty cool. So from here, you can just, attach a hybrid cannon on there, or a beat launcher, or a tactical shot, or whatever. And let me actually bring the camera out just a little bit here, and bring in my fully armed mock Garuda as well with the second one. So there you go. There's the proof. I do have 2 of these things. And if you want 2 of them yourself, you're going to need to jump through some hoops at the time of this recording, because like I said, that one seller is kind of hoarding them all and only distributing them one by one, which is a little bit annoying. But I'm going to do one more cut and come back with some final thoughts. So given the circumstances, because I couldn't ship the 2 of them together, I both received and built my first copy of this magazine long before this second one even arrived. And because of that, I've had a lot more experience with it than I'm usually used to by the end of these Let's Builds. I sort of like to give first impressions in these final segments, but I feel like I'm beyond the threshold of first impressions at this point, and kind of want to save my more experienced opinions on the product until my actual review. On a slightly unrelated note, I have no real way of telling how rare this thing is at this point, because while it doesn't show up very often, I have no idea how many the seller I bought this from actually has in stock at the time of this recording. They could have a dozen, they could have only 1 or 2. If you want to get this and experience its gimmick for yourself, I don't really know what to tell you. Cross your fingers, I guess. The only certainty is that it is not as rare as the Mega Grenade, fortunately enough. So, that's good, if nothing else. Speaking of the Mega Grenade, that's really the last Crash Beat-'em-on item I'm all that interested in getting. We're sort of getting towards the end of what I feel comfortable with having in my Crash Beat-'em-on collection. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, the Mega Grenade is very rare. It doesn't show up very often, and when it does show up, it is mind-blowingly expensive for what it is. So, I can't promise that's coming anytime soon. Of course, until then, that is about it, guys, and this is IX RolloutReviews, signing off.